I am a journalist and I work at the Australiemag. I studied journalism at UQ. I accepted my first job up in the Whitsundays. I worked for a small community paper up north, and then I was lucky enough to get a graduate position at the Australiemag about a year ago. So I travelled back down to Brisbane and started that.
I'm a reporter for the ABC, have been for 19 years this year actually. So when I started, I moved 8 times in 8 years for the ABC. Don't think that you're just going to be a writer in journalism. I mean, I can shoot, I can edit, and I can write. Those things, if you want to be a broadcast reporter, those boundaries of traditional roles are very much blurring.
The highlights would be the big stories. They'd be the natural disasters, the floods in Brisbane in 2011. I was working part-time, but when a story like that hits, it's, all bets are off. You work full-time and you work around the clock and pretty much don't sleep. I work at the ABC as a journalist doing radio current affairs at the moment, but also television and radio news. Everyone now is pretty much multi-skilled in the ABC doing tri-media, so radio, TV and online. I graduated from the University of Queensland in 1996 and have been at the ABC ever since.
Be interested in the news, watch it, read it, look at it, pull it apart, try and understand what it is and get some experience. If this is the life that you are going to choose, then it's worthwhile putting in the effort early because it's a very competitive environment. There are more people studying journalism, I think, than there are actually journalists working now in Australia. And so what you have to bring, perhaps, is enthusiasm and a work ethic.
I work at the Courier-Mail as a political reporter, at the moment state politics, and I cover federal politics on and off. Look, I think the kinds of personality traits that make people tend to gravitate towards journalism are just a love of people to begin with. So, the obvious one is a love of stories and telling stories, but I think at its very core, journalism is about people and how we interact with each other. And I think fundamentally you need to have a great passion for speaking with people and having a genuine interest in people you may never have met.
You only have to look at countries like Egypt and Syria to realise how important journalists doing their job is. We are lucky we have a democracy, but we should never take that for granted, and you need journalists to be asking the hard questions. So I think it's part of the foundation of our country to have a free and flourishing press. So I think it's a really important and responsible role and not to be taken lightly.
The really successful journalists are the ones that never stop and they never clock off. They're always thinking of the next story, the next yarn, the next way that I can tell this story. So I would just recommend always having that kind of fire in you and going after things, because that's how you get ahead and that's how you'll impress people.
Whilst the pay's lousy and the hours are rubbish, they're the best seats in the house.
It's that adrenaline rush when you're on a big story and you are the person there for your network. It's a big responsibility, but it's a great vote of confidence in you too, and it's a pretty good feeling.